So it's been a while since we did one of these.
I think this is episode number 7. I didn't check, but it should be. I think we did 6 of these episodes.
But we haven't done one of these since Discovery.
Pretty much. And we said we were gonna do these, but
scheduling conflict. Let's go there.
And let's just say, you know, for me it's easy to, you know, to go and just look up a random episode of any of the Star Trek series sometimes and just watch 1 or 2 of them when I can. For you, not so much, so it's difficult. But listen, I'll definitely find there's a list out there, and I'll find a few episodes that we can rewatch and record the podcast about later on this year and make more of these. But let's focus on the new. Like Star Trek has been getting a lot of news over the last few weeks, even the last month actually. In various, you know,
shapes and forms
and sizes. Yeah. And so you
started off, and they announced we're gonna get Captain Jean-Luc Picard back.
Yeah, and maybe he's not gonna be a captain anymore. Listen, the all-around Picard series, for me, it makes a lot of sense to branch out in a way. I don't know. We don't know what kind of show it'll be. We just know the show is gonna be focused on Jean-Luc Picard. And whether it's gonna be some kind of you remember that show from the 90s? It only had 1 season, I think. It ran for a year or 2 while they were showing it here. The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles or something like that. It was basically, you know, the show would start with the old Indiana Jones. He was it was kind of like the Forrest Gump thing. He would be somewhere and he would befriend a stranger or something, and then he'd tell him a story, one of his adventures from when he was younger. And I think that's how the Jean-Luc Picard series is going to run, you know. At least that's the way I see it. Nothing was announced except that we are getting these series. How long into the future these series will be, we don't know. But there's a lot of potential here.
Be there? I don't know.
Will he be an admiral? I'd like to see him as an admiral or something.
Here's the thing. While I do support another Jean-Luc central series, my question is, out of the whole world of Star Trek,
okay,
out of all the sectors, the species, the people they could have gone into, there's so many stories in this world that they could tell. They could concentrate on a whole nother species and tell their own stories. Why? I want new in my Star Trek. Not nostalgic. Will I watch this new Jean-Luc TV?
Of course you will.
Of course I will. Duh. But there's so much potential here outside of this. Now I don't know, maybe they take Jean-Luc and maybe he tells different stories. You never know what they're gonna do.
You think it's gonna be, you know, story time with Jean-Luc Picard?
I wouldn't mind. Like he just narrates the whole thing. Yeah, I'll go for it.
He has a lovely voice.
He has a whole history of exploring worlds, meeting new species.
Exactly.
So there's potential there. There's potential.
Can I counter your question?
No, you cannot.
That
was rhetorical. You cannot answer a rhetorical question. No, I don't want you to.
I will simply ask you this then. Do you think it's possible for people as a human race, and of course I'm going all Star Trek on this, is it possible for us to learn from other species, other organizations? For example, could one franchise as Star Trek take a lesson from Lucasfilms? Do we always have to get a story about Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia? You know, you would think that, to answer your rhetorical question, you know, you would think that people at CBS would take a page from Star Wars and actually, you know, focus on something else. Yeah, move on. Tell a different story. And, you know, learn from Star Wars.
Would you now want a Ferengi-based?
You know what? I've seen a lot of Ferengi-based episodes, and as much as I love Quark and his adventures and listen, Klingon Quark to me is the best. House of Quark, the episode, is one of my favorite episodes of all time. But you know what?
No, I'm just saying, like, there's so many species that you can, you know.
Definitely, man, definitely. But you know,
there's
people.
Vulcans, there's Cardassians.
Well, I would say that Deep Space Nine is heavily concentrated on Cardassia and their politics with the Federation. There's a lot of Klingons involved with that as well as the Dominion. But in regards to Jean-Luc Picard, this is my idea of how I'm seeing what I think this might be. Okay, I'm thinking this is an old. This is Jean-Luc Picard. He's old, you know. He's not necessarily on his deathbed, but he's getting there, okay? And because Patrick Stewart is still with us, and dude, from the report and the video clip that I've seen, he literally shed a tear when he announced this news at the San Diego Comic-Con, okay?
Really?
He shed a tear,
so
dude.
you know he's excited for it.
And he pretty much said he loved this character and he's looking forward to actually doing this series. Like, it's not another, you know, Captain on deck sort of TV show.
It's not a money grab.
I don't think so, man.
Alright,
and I think with Star Trek, listen, I don't think. I mean, yeah, sure, it's always a money grab with the studios, but to me, you know, I've watching the Star Trek Discovery. I don't think it was necessarily a money grab. The story was good. Characters were. I mean, we talked about that show on it. Like,
first off, it was a money grab. Every time they do something, it's a money grab.
Of course,
Studio,
I mean,
Hollywood,
it's business. They're
business.
supposed to make money.
It's everything about money. If the watchability is there, they're gonna keep the TV show alive. If it's not there, they're gonna cancel it.
The problem is with Star Trek Discovery, they lost some of the fan base that they held on, that they had until that very moment. Some people just stopped. They said, I'm just gonna have my old Star Treks, I'm not gonna watch the Star Trek Discovery.
I like my new.
Especially how
I always believed that what CBS was doing with Discovery was starting something new. Like, we're gonna have Discovery, we're gonna see how Discovery works, and then we're gonna do something else. We're gonna branch out from there. And
they're gonna do that with season 2. I saw the trailer.
I didn't. And I think one of the reasons why they're doing a Jean-Luc story is for the fan base that they lost.
Yeah, exactly.
Discovery. They want to draw him back. Now I still think that they're planning on doing something new and something different. But if they do it through Jean-Luc, they can still keep the fan base.
I think, dude, if they were doing it through Riker, it would still be the same thing.
No, but if they do it through, I don't know, like, and George, who's a new character who never shows up before, is like, people are gonna be like, who's Aunt George? I'm just saying, by bringing a familiar face, you can still pull in the old fan base that you lost through Discovery, and you can be like, okay, we can use the old
and
to venture into the new.
Yeah, exactly. Because people,
which is, as a storyteller, you're gonna have to find different stories to pull stuff out. So, you know, hey.
Exactly. And, you know, the movie, especially the Nemesis, didn't, you know, satisfy. I remember watching it. To me, it was just dull, long movie. And Nemesis, it's with the when they have these. Anyways, it's the last Star Trek movie before the before the Abramverse. Okay, and
speaking of Abramverse,
listen.
Chris's want more dough. Chris's should not want more dough. Chris's should want to make fans happy. Chris's, both of you.
Dude, if that's how you want to venture into the new movies, that's fine.
Okay.
But let's
the Doctor is joining the Star Trek universe. Is that better?
Which Doctor are we talking about? Are we talking about the EMH?
No, we're talking about the Doctor.
Oh,
the first one, the original one. The 11th.
Oh, the Doctor. Doctor Who?
Doctor Who is coming to Star Trek.
Well, I have an idea for the but
here's the thing with the Doctor joining. Star Trek. Said they won't reveal what. And here's the thing. I think by having him join in a vital role or whatever they described it as.
Oh, you mean that was Star Wars?
No, it was Star Trek.
No, it was the Star Wars, man. You went into the whole different franchise.
Why did I think it was Star Trek?
I don't know.
Because I was really looking forward to seeing him in Star Trek.
No.
He's doing Star Wars?
He's doing Star Wars, man.
Why can't he do Star Trek? I was like, he's doing Star Trek.
I was like, where are you going with this? I know I talked about my fanfic that is still in development.
No. I'm not.
But I didn't think we were talking about that now.
So he's doing Star Wars, not Star Trek.
No.
I was so excited for him to join the Star Trek.
Hey man, I was like,
He's doing Star Wars?
Yeah. Matt Smith, right?
There goes my day. I
And
really
it's your-
thought he was joining Star Trek.
No, man.
Because I didn't read the article.
You just seen Star and the
Yeah.
Trek and stuff, but how could you miss the big W next to Star? I was
I
like,
don't
where
have
you
enough
going with
time to
this?
read articles, man.
I was
I had
like,
like
where you
work
go-
and stuff. Like,
I was like, where are you going with this,
I'm
dude?
too tired to read anything. I just was joining Star. I was like, oh, he's
No,
in Star Trek, and I was like, so okay with Chris's. This might be a push to get him. I thought he was moving in a.
No, man.
Is he doing Star Wars?
No, Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pine just want more money, and for now, the new Abramverse movies are
On hold.
on hold until who knows when.
They're buffering.
Possible.
It's just like, come on, do it for the fans. I mean, they're still gonna get paid. Like they're gonna cash in like 5 million each, easy, even before them asking for a raise. So if they're gonna ask for a raise, they're probably gonna push the figure. I don't know what they usually get paid,
Yeah,
but I
nobody
think
knows.
at this point, with everything that Chris Hemsworth did with Thor and everything Chris Pine did with everything else, especially considering this is like his 4th Star Trek movie, I'm thinking they probably can command 10 million easy.
And apparently the Quentin Tarantino movie is also on hold, which was supposed to be a different movie, I think. So it's like, yeah, it's a mess, man. It's a mess.
And with the pending lawsuit against Discovery, CBS
Plagiarism, yeah.
Just yeah, you know, it's like, yeah, let's talk Jean-Luc. Why not?
Yeah, it's what I said, man.
He's a high point at this point. It's
Do
like
you
only
want me
bright
to,
side
do
at
you
this
want me
point.
to bring up, you know, Nichelle Nichols being diagnosed, aka Lieutenant Uhura being diagnosed with
We're
dementia?
talking bad news. Like, why not? Holly Ron. Anybody else died?
It's been a month for it. No, that's one of the reasons we're doing the Captain's Chair episode. So let's talk about the Captain. I mean, to me, the Captain is always gonna be Jane Mulgrew as Captain Janeway.
Janeway.
I mean, I grew up with her.
Yeah, she was
Captain-
our
Captain
first
Janeway, yeah.
venture into the Star Wars.
Star Trek.
universe.
Dude, come on, man.
I'm
You're doing rookie
I'm
mistakes.
I'm so.
Yeah, dude, I can see it on your face.
Threw me off, man. Threw me off. I was so happy for him to join Star Trek. Just threw me off, man.
Dude, when you mentioned the Doctor, I was like, what do you want, EMH? Like,
I'm not
I mean, that would
talking.
be-
No, don't go there. You went there once. That's more than plenty.
Could we see EMH actually meeting Jean-Luc Picard? I'd love to do that, man.
Well, here's the thing.
Like he's...
I can.
Do we get to see Data
You
again?
can bring him back.
Because all
Well,
those
here's the
people
thing.
are alive, like in real life
If
and
you're
in
go-
Star Trek universe at the same time.
If
So-
you're gonna do something new, do you bring them back?
Well, it depends on what kind of new they're talking about.
I think you.
Maybe it's
can-
new adventures of Captain
Old crew.
Jean-Luc. Yeah, old crew. Sure, why not? Because
I
at one point,
think-
after the movies, when they destroyed the Enterprise, Worf went. Worf was kind of,
He went to DS9.
You know, he had nothing to do. They needed him for the war with the Dominion. And all of a sudden the Klingons were talking about how they're gonna leave the Federation, which they did at one point, and they brought in Worf, to be a liaison, and he stayed on the DS9, and so there's it's not necessarily the old crew is back, so
Well, they're
maybe
there.
they get new members, and
I
there's
think
that.
that the old crew might cameo in it. Because here's the thing, I can see them showing up, but I don't see them playing vital
Agreed.
parts
Agreed.
in the show.
Well, we've seen.
Because I still think they're gonna do something new with the old character,
Like-
and for that purpose,
Sure.
they can bring more old characters back.
Remember when we watched Voyager and all of a sudden, I mean, when we were kids watching the show for the first time, we've never actually seen the Next Generation. So someone like
Well,
Deanna Troi
we
and
saw parts.
yeah, and Deanna Troi and Lieutenant Barclay didn't necessarily make a lot of sense. But after you've seen the Next Generation and you watch Voyager again, and all of a sudden you had Deanna Troi and the Barclay-centered episodes. It makes
You're more familiar with
the
that
characters.
makes sense.
You know who these people are and what
And
they're trying
Deanna
to do.
Troy and Riker show up later on in the Enterprise.
Yeah,
So like
exactly.
they're
yeah.
all tied together. Like they always bring them back. There's always they tie them in some way. So I think this Jean-Luc Center episode series, it's gonna bring them back to some degree, but I don't think they're gonna play as vital part.
Because remember that one, I also back to Voyager. I mean, remember that one episode in season 5, Timeless, I think, with the alternate reality where Voyager came back. I actually didn't really come back, but only Chakotay and Henry Kim survived, and they tried to, you know, in that alternate future, we had, you know, not Leroy, what's his name?
Yeah.
Geordi LaForge.
Geordi, yeah.
You know, he was the captain of a
his own-
starship,
yeah.
of his own Galaxy's class starship, and you know, we can still have that. You know, you don't necessarily, he doesn't necessarily have to be chief engineer anymore. He can be the captain. You know,
Well, at this
he doesn't
point,
need
you
the
won't
visor
expect him-
anymore. So I mean, so like they can do stuff with them. You know, there was also one point in the TNG when they went into future or something or other, and Riker was an admiral on Enterprise, which was also decommissioned or something, and he brought it back to life. You know, it was also, and it wasn't necessarily an alternate future, but they came back from the future or something to change something that would happen. So there's things that you can do, abilities to do with the Jean-Luc Picard show. And what's it going to be called anyway? That's what I'm wondering. Is it going to be Star Trek, you know, Picard? Or something, you know, of course not, it just doesn't make any sense. But what's it gonna be called, you know?
We'll see. I think the name I discovered.
Is it gonna be, dude, is it gonna be Story Time with Jean-Luc Picard? To me personally, I would love to see that show. It can all be based in one holodeck.
Story Time with Uncle Jean.
There you go, making my spectacular titles into even worse titles than they already are.
Thank you. You're welcome.
That's a very Delta thing of you to do.
So here's the thing. I think the name of the TV show is gonna.
And you're not a holo novel doctor, so.
I think the name of the TV show is gonna reveal a lot.
You think so?
I think so. And I think that's why they listen.
Do you think it's gonna reveal more than we already know?
Yes. Because right now we know nothing.
Well, we know one thing for certain.
Jean-Luc.
Definitely.
And that's all we know.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that, if you're CBS, I don't think you go to Patrick and be like, we want to bring you back, and then he sheds a tear.
He wouldn't do this show if he wasn't into it.
Yeah,
you know,
so
he has
you
to.
have to
and
pitch him.
He shed
show.
a tear, dude. When he
and you're
announced
not pitching.
the news.
You're not shedding a tear just because they ask you to do something.
Exactly.
You shed a tear because you know what they ask you to do. So Jean-Luc, Patrick Stewart knows what he's doing.
Next time, just refer to him as Professor X, so there's no misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So guys over at CBS, they know what they're doing. So I do think the title of the show is going to reveal.
I don't trust them. I trust them, but you know, there's a lot of people out there who don't, and I think it's a shame.
But I think they know what they're doing.
I agree.
I think they know what they're doing. I think they sold Professor X on a great idea. And I think Professor X is really happy to be doing whatever they pitched him. And I think the name's going to reveal more of what's going on. So I think they're going to keep it under wraps until they at least... I don't know whether they're going to start shooting. I don't know what the timeline on this thing is. But I do expect at some point when people are going to... It's going to leak that they started shooting.
They're probably going to announce it.
And then there's gonna be people are gonna keep close eyes on the cast, the original cast of the Enterprise, so the Next Generation.
Although there will be a mistake if you're doing just that. You should keep an eye on everybody. I think. Oh, yeah. Everybody who was in the '90s shows.
I think they're gonna keep a close eye whenever they show up at a location where the shooting is going on.
Because I'd love to see some more of Worf. I'd love to see some more Tuvok or somebody.
I think we will, but I don't think. I think we're gonna see more.
I want more Tom Paris and Harry Kim, man. Okay, I want more.
Dude, when I was a kid, Tom Paris was like an idol. Like he's a hotshot flyer. You know, hey, it's like,
dude, we're gonna talk. Dude, I have an episode planned just for some of those characters, and next time we shoot a video, we're gonna shoot that episode because I think that's a fascinating episode. That's an amazing.
So I think we're gonna see the old characters. I don't know how many of them. I don't see how much of them. But
you know who I want back? Q. It's not, dude. It's not a Jean-Luc Picard show if there's no Q involved. Okay. To me, Q is an essential part of the Star Trek universe, and whether John Delancey wants to do it or not, I really don't care. I just want him to do it. because she's amazing as Q. I love Q. Q is, I mean, every episode that Q is in is better just because she's in there.
Yeah.
I mean, even later on when he appears in Voyager and DS9, you know, it's amazing. I think he even appeared in the Star Trek Enterprise, you know. But you know, I mean, he's an ancient creature. But I want to see Q. I want to, you know, I want to see a few episodes where he comes in and says, "Jean-Luc Picard, are you telling your stories again? Why don't you tell them the real story of what happened? Here's what happened." For real, and you get this whole, you know, cube.
The bickering between them two, like
not that. You get the whole, you know, point of view from Q's point of view show. So
well, here's the thing. I have no idea what's going on.
I want more Q.
Possible. We don't know. We'll see. We'll never know.
And also, what happened to Wesley Crusher? He became Traveler of at the end of the TNG. Like he became this, sort of like Q is, but a little bit different creature. So it's like I want to see that. Okay, I mean, what's his name? William. What's his name? Forgot the character's name. But as much as I don't hold any.
Do we see William Shatner?
No, he's dead.
Can you imagine an episode with Q and William Shatner? This Q tells the story of how he met the brave Captain Kirk.
You know what?
What he's thinking about.
Dude, you know what? If that's an alternate reality, if that's a mirror episode, okay, let's. Star Trek Discovery was great with mirror universe episodes,
yes.
Like a lot better than Deep Space Nine was.
I think they.
For reason because it was all set, within a 7-episode time frame. They did it all at once, and they told such a great story. And you know what? I would love to see Mirror Q. Maybe he's the exact. I mean, he's definitely the exact opposite of what Q in this Prime universe really is. I mean, you can't tell me that you wouldn't want to see the mirror version of Q. Maybe he's.
No. I love this Q. Unless what would be surprising if the mirror version of Q is the same as this Q because he's.
Maybe that's a possibility.
Can you see two Qs in between mirror universes?
You mean the two of them talk to each other or something?
No, it's like somehow they end up not in the mirror universe, but right at the point where the mirror universe
and
meet, and there's like this void, and they meet in the void.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, sure. Why not?
It's like life in the void, but Q. And
maybe that's where the Q continuum exists.
And it's like two Qs on a mission to Q something.
But maybe that's where the Q continuum exists because space-wise, Q continuum doesn't really have location. So maybe that's where Q continuum exists.
Well, we'll never know. And like
maybe we find
Star
out
Trek
in Story Times with Jean-Luc Picard.
With Uncle Jean. And here's the thing.
As told by the Doctor. I mean, I'd love to see, what's his name? Not Phillips, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like
his name escapes me, but I do know who you're referring.
No, that's Neelix, but I'd love to see the Doctor tell a story in the hologram about Jean-Luc Picard, and all of a sudden Jean-Luc Picard shows up and he tells the story about one time.
As you can see, there's a world of possibilities within the Star Trek, other than the fact that Matt Smith is
That's just from two regular fans. Come on, man.
So,
imagine what the actual writers who are paid to do this managed to come up with, man.
Well, they managed to come up with something that brought tear to Patrick's eyes. That's all I'm gonna say. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be.
Agreed.
And I think, like I said, they're trying to pull the fan base, the old ones that they lost with the Discovery. I think they're trying to pull them back through Professor X, and I think it's gonna work. I think they're gonna come back, and then I think they're gonna bitch about whatever they did with the show. But I don't think the show is gonna be bad. I think the show is gonna be good. And I'm really, really looking forward to not just the show, this show, I'm looking forward to Discovery Season 2.
I was just going to say, we have to mention how we're looking forward to
And I'm looking forward to whatever they're doing after this. Because I think Discovery is not going to stop on Season 2 unless the lawsuit pulls them back for whatever reason. I think that's, at this point...
I think that's one of the reasons they may have killed off the Doctor in the show.
You never know, but I think the season, at this point, only thing that can stop Discovery is the lawsuit. if for some reason they have to stop doing Discovery based
Well,
on
they're
the fact.
definitely doing season 2, so and
we're
it
gonna
looks
see
spectacular
season
in my
2,
opinion. From the
and
trailer
we're
they
probably
showed,
gonna see more
spectacular.
of Discovery afterwards. And I'm looking forward to whatever they're doing with Professor X, and I'm looking forward to whatever they're gonna do after that.
It sounds so meta when you say Professor X.
Because
man.
at this point, like, you know they're not gonna stop. After Discovery, they pulled Professor X into it, and you know they're gonna branch out. You know they're gonna do more stuff, and if whatever they're doing with Professor X, I think if it works, you might see older characters coming back.
I think we'll
I know
other
Catherine
characters.
Janeway's, she's doing The Orange is the New Black right now.
Oh really?
I think she's tied into that, but I think if whatever works there, they might pull her back, especially.
I'd love to see her.
And she might come
they
back
have a
as
short
Catherine
scene in
Janeway.
one of the movies, but that's about it.
So there's a world of possibilities, and I'm for one glad that folks over at CBS that they're exploring all of it. And I as much as I want to, as many shows as fast as I can, I like that they're taking their time
yeah, to make it good.
exploring what they're gonna do, how they're gonna tie it together, and exactly what they're gonna do to bring us the best product possible.
Agreed.
But I am looking forward to, maybe it's like 2-3 years down the line, I'm looking forward to that moment where we have like 4-5 Star Trek series going on at the same time.
Oh dude, I'd love
I think it's gonna happen. Like I said, probably like not in the next 3-4 years. It might happen like, I don't know, 5 years from now. We might be at the point we're gonna have Discovery, Jean-Luc, and whatever they're doing. Like, you're gonna have like
dude,
3-4
I
series
love that.
going on at the same time. And then if they can find like whatever they're doing at the time, if they can find a way to cross them over and stuff, like there's a universe there that isn't fully explored.
Yeah.
Yes, we had some
And
great.
there's so many.
We had the movies. We
yeah.
had the original Kirk. We had the Next Generation, the DS9, the Voyager, the Enterprise. But there's so much more there that they can explore, and I'm looking for. And I'm grateful that in this time, they have the opportunity because of the technology, because of everything else that's going on in the TV verse right now, in the movie verses right now, that they can do different stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward, like I said, I'm looking forward to that
And if
moment,
they ever-
like a couple of years down the
yeah.
line, where we have more TV
Finish.
shows.
Yeah, and just if they run out of ideas, they can always do the Doctor and Data show, where they you know, explore the future and tell stories in the holodeck and whatnot. You know, it can be, they can do pretty
Dressed
much
as
what.
Sherlock Holmes and whatever.
Yeah,
Pull
yeah.
yeah.
I love this.
It's an exciting moment
to be a Star Trek
to
fan.
be a Star Trek fan for sure.
Even for those people who are disgusted and dislike the idea of Star Trek Discovery, I know STD is for short, but I'm never gonna refer to it as STD, because only people who hate that show will refer to it that way, in derogatory manner.
Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Because STD
sometimes,
does stand for something else.
yeah, and so Star Trek Discovery, looking for, and we're gonna find a way to do more of these episodes, because we said we were gonna do them, and because we wanna do them.
After September, though.
Yeah.
Let's not rush it.
And we
Schedule conflicts.
yeah, and we have a lot more things in plan too. So stay tuned, come back, explore the channel, join us in the
Let
discussion.
the force be with you, Harry.
Okay, we're just gonna close it with the with that. Whatever. Live long and prosper.